Hey, hey, Blue Table fans. Wow, is this on right? Hey, Ben, come over and look and see if I'm measured up right on this. It should be like the bottom should be here. My
Step
head
back.
should be like, step back. Actually, you need to tilt it up just a tad. It's about as far as away. Is that about right then? You're seeing kind of this?
Yeah, just the camera bottom is right below your pocket.
Oh, okay, perfect. All right, good. All right, hey, thanks a lot.
No problem.
All right, hey, hey, Blue Table fans. This is going to be a long and rambling PSA. That's public service announcement. And first off, there's a lot of new subscribers. A lot of people don't read the blog, so you haven't heard my disclaimer. Here's my disclaimer. I make no claims on exceptional human virtue. I have what I consider to be the regular amount of human frailties and inadequacies. So lower your expectations to the sufficient level and you will not be disappointed. Along with that, I'm always humbled and surprised that this channel has gotten as much viewership as it has. I think it's great. I am working really hard to parlay that into better lives for the people that work here. And yeah, that is a big part of what we're doing. In fact, let's talk about the status of Blue Table Painting. The status is good. The last 8 weeks, we had a surge in orders. Like that water level just went right above our heads. We were like, oh my gosh, how are we going to catch up? But now that's all back under control again, and we are looking good. But it did, every time something bad happens, more orders isn't bad, but every time a challenge comes along, it makes me look at things in a new way. So it's almost always positive. And that made me start doing some calculations, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to be hiring like a person a month. And oh, by the way, that's a conservative estimate. So for 4 years, that's my prediction. I try not to get too overconfident. I realize in a truly free market, you are honored and blessed to have orders, to be in business. So the trick is to honor that and respond to that by being the best business that you can. And that is certainly what I've done. I owe it to all of our clients and to you, the fans, to constantly be improving our game. And let me tell you, we are. Behind the scenes, we are constantly working on new things to improve our game. And boy, it is, in the miniatures painting industry, it is sink or swim. And if you're going to swim, you better paddle hard. So anyway, right now we are at 11 painters, 6, and almost all the painters have full-time potential. Not all of them do, but there's that. And downstairs in assembly, I think we have 6, and we have about 6 administrative staff, including 2 for trade stock. So the trade-in, I'd encourage you all to look at our trade-in program. And what I'm trying to do, so I'm going to give you guys kind of an inside glimpse. With the trade-in program, what I'm doing is I'm creating a market that operates kind of at these lower numbers. So like when you trade something in, you don't get as much of it, as much for it as you get on the secondhand market, but we're attempting to, on the other side, create a secondhand market where it's really inexpensive, I guess is the word I'm looking for. It's so basically our standard for trade stock is you pay 50% of retail, but that's actually starting to kind of creep down a little bit. And so with the trade stock program, we have, and you know what, let me just explain it to you verbally. Like everything, you know what, I like the clipboard. Like everything, you have to revert to the written terms. So I have written terms on my website. For the trade stock program, I have written terms on our blog. And so basically what you do is you tell us what you have, And you need to be detailed. You can't just say 40 goblins. Well, what company made them? Are they plastic or are they metal? Are they from the Battle for Skull Pass box set? Those are more common, by the way. So I need some details. Like, please don't just say I have a squad of Terminators. Is it 5? Is it 10? Are they assault squad? Are they regular guys? Are they painted, unpainted, primed, white, black? I don't know. I need some detail on there. So anyway, you send us their list. We usually calculate the retail value of that, and we credit between 20 and 40%. Sometimes a little higher, sometimes a little lower. If stuff, we rarely value for painting because painting is so iffy to actually be able to go out on the secondary market and broker a notably higher price because something's painted. However, I know good painting when I see it, so if you send some good pictures, I will consider that into my evaluation. And my guiding light is I want to be fair. But I also have to include in my factorization real market forces. So, for example, when I owned my game shop in Oregon, I had a young person bring in this big old flat of magic cards, and he said the magazine guide values all these commons at 25 cents each, and he said, and I've counted, there's 4,000 here, $1,000 please. And I was like, oh, and I just couldn't explain to him why that's not how it worked. And so he took his treasures along down the road. And I think that's what's shaping up in our trade program. Like you saw this thing the other day where I had the baggies, the scrapyard stuff, and it's like $3 a bag. That's kind of where this, that's where those went. So the value of something is what someone will actually pay. And that's what I'm attempting to do with this trade program, is create sort of a stabilized secondary market. And I want to be right in the middle of that. So right now the trade program seems like a side thing we're doing, but it is going to become a main thing that we are doing. And so keep us in mind when you're trying to get rid of your stuff. But you can almost always do better going to the secondary market yourself. Going through us is easy. What I would like to do, so the trade stock program has, when it comes in, we sort it into 5 different locations. I don't know if I can remember all of them. One is slag. It's bits, stuff that's just useful to get ground up and put as base decorations. It's really bad. Then we have scrap, which is the next lowest grade. And then we have regular things that we're not going to do anything with, but we are just going to put them up for sale, as is. And then the next one is trade stock. That's where we actually, it's kind of an in-house term for we're just holding on to it in case we need it for a project or whatever it is we want to do. And then the last one is refurbishment, and that's where it goes out, it gets repaired, it gets repainted, touched up by us, and then it goes on the block. And some of those become studio armies. Like we're doing a studio Beastman army right now. Okay, so anyway, the bottom line, and then so then you send your stuff in, but there's still a secondary assessment. So if you say, well, I have all these things, and you send them in, and they're caked in paint, that effectively we're like, this isn't like usable material. This is slag. Then we'll come back and say, we have to evaluate this lower. This rarely happens, but it does happen. And so you do have to be upfront with us, and don't hold back telling us what the condition of the models are, because we'll notice when they come in. Again, that's rare. A lot of the times we get in stuff and it's really great and the deal is just about right. Okay, so the other thing is if you don't want to count it all up, you can send it in for what's called evaluation, which means you just put it in a package, you mail it in. It has to have all the packages have to have a piece of paper in them with contact information, address, phone number, name. an invoice, like what's in it. Unless it's for evaluation, then you say this is trade for evaluation, and then we go through it and we look at what it is, and you get an email saying this is how much we're offering for your stuff. I just ask that you be emotionally ready for whatever that number is. We don't like to go too high or too low, but you have to remember we're working on our forces too, with forces on our end as well. So. And then you get a credit. It's like a gift certificate. There's limitations on what you can use it for. For example, Forge World doesn't give discounts on anything. And that's the big one, is you can trade in your stuff. You don't have to get painting and assembly services. You can just trade in your stuff and have us send you brand new kits. Or you can keep the credit and you can use it for other stuff in trade stock. And that's where you can really leverage it out. So let's say you have $100 worth of stuff, you trade it in for 25%, say, of that, so you get a credit of $25. But now you're not using that you can get $25 of brand new stuff that you pick, or you can get stuff from our trade stock program that's on our website, like listed with set prices. Aha! Now, see, that's only 50% off. So it becomes kind of a 2-for-1 if you go that way. And that is, so it helps us because it allows us to make a profit and keep people employed. Think about that. Right now, and the trade stock program may have different faces as time goes on. But right now I have Janine and Thomas there, and this is their income. This program provides a context for them to be employed rather than unemployed. So think of how great that is. By participating in what we're doing, you are helping these people better their lives, hold their heads high, pay their rent, get ahead in life. Like those two recently just repainted their house. And I'm like, that is neat. That is free enterprise and industry. And I just absolutely love that. I just can't get past it. It's, I guess that feeling, for me, that's success, is when you improve the community and you improve people's lives. And that feeling of success, that's better than money. I still want the money. Anyway, okay, so that's a trade program. Wow, I just kind of went off on that, huh? Again, written down trumps what I say on the video, just in case there's ever any, discrepancy there. Okay, so let's talk about painters. Oh my gosh, I'm over the moon with the current painting crew. We're going to be caught up real soon. We need to set up new projects now to keep. I want to put the pressure on those guys. I want to see what they can do. Like I want to put it in neutral. I want to push the gas pedal all the way down to the floor and see what the engine sounds like. Maybe we should put it in drive and make sure we're not headed into the garage. So anyway, so there are currently 11 painters. We're currently like, God, do we need a 12th person? But we have 11 painters, and I wanna rev those guys up. And they are all insanely good. Every last one of them is dedicated, they're strong, they're talented. It's amazing. It's really amazing. We had a couple people on their trial periods right now. Painters 10 and 11 are still in trial, and they're like, I'm going over there and I'm like, I am mighty pleased. I get like this big old Grinch grin. Yeah, those guys, they're fantastic. Okay, so that's where the status of BTP is like 2 thumbs way up. We are doing good. We're ready for the next wave. And future of BTP is, well, I've talked about this numerous times before, but I'll just do a synopsis. Assuming we grow, and I believe the market is right for that. We should have 50 people all told. Right now we're at 27 in a year and a half. So by the end of 2013, we should be busting out the seams of this current facility. And that will right about that time, we should have the resources to start expanding out into other areas. And that includes the trade stock program. I'm really excited to see where that's going to go. But again, it's a matter of, a lot of times in an emerging market, it's a matter of education. So like, how much does it cost to paint a figure? Well, there's no industry standard. Aha, now there is. Go to our website, we have spreadsheet. It's been years. I've spent 8 years finding out what is the right mix. Where should the prices be? Where can they be to make it work? To be able to grow a business, provide stability, provide good enough jobs to make people stick around, and where are we going to go with that? And I actually study, I keep my finger on the pulse of, currency supply, some macroeconomic type stuff in there. Anyway, so there's that. The other thing is we are improving our promotions. It's kind of, we've always pursued a, if you build it, they will come type of thing. Like if you put in good content, don't have a weak site. Oh boy, here we go. Yes, I know our site is terrible. We're working on that. But it's the YouTube channel is really, in a way, our main connection. We put a lot of effort into the content on our YouTube channel, and that is where we're going with that. Mike D got a little intimation from him that I might get him back, and he is a professional videographer. He's really absolutely astounding, and we really need him now. Okay, let's see here. Something I've wanted to do for a while is just give you a brief overview of me. And I know that sounds a bit narcissistic, and that would sound about right. And that is just like, who am I? Some people that have followed the blog, they've kind of picked it up over the years. But here's a synopsis. My name is Sean Gately. I grew up in Oregon and Southern California. I am half hillbilly on my father's side. Guns and deep forest. Camping. We spent some time in the Alaskan outback when I was about 9 years old, and I ran off in, and when I say outback, I mean 113 miles from the nearest civilization, and the nearest civilization was a guy in a shack selling mosquito repellent. And we were out there. It was gold mining. And oddly, this kind of ties in later to my studies of like the gold standard, which is that there was a reason why gold jumped in price. I think it was like $250 an ounce there. So, well, I won't go into that. But anyway, we were out gold mining, like old school, like with dredges and sluice boxes. And that's the old type of mining, where it actually comes down, a sluice, like a ramp with water, I guess you'd call it. And I don't know how I survived, because apparently my parents let me run around by myself at that age in the woods with and exploring like old abandoned mining camps. Somewhere I have a picture of me, like just nature boy sitting next to this creek with like my staff in my cutoffs. And that's what I did. I wore cutoffs and ran around in the wilderness all the time. So anyway, so a lot of camping. We finally settled down in Southern Oregon. That is my dad's side of the family out there. That's was logging country. I'm from Ashland. Graduated from Ashland High School. And I was very much a nerd, played D&D the whole time, all sorts of role-playing games. Then I was effectively homeless for like a year, where I just kind of bummed off of friends. Highly recommend, by the way, don't rush off to college, be homeless for a while. Or better yet, bum off your parents. But definitely don't let that era of your life slip you by. Right now, parents are just like clapping their hands over their kids' ears. Don't tell them that. But you've got your whole life to be responsible. Be a slacker for a little while, but not too long. I worked in a mill during high school, and that taught me hard physical labor. It was brutal, and that changed my life. And had lots of jobs at fast food places. Worked my way up from the bottom that, in one of my jobs, this was at McDonald's. Yeah, I worked at McDonald's. Great American institution. One of my jobs was not to scrape gum off the bottom of the tables, not the chairs, but the booths. I would have to actually put my head against the floor to get underneath there and scrape the gum off. Then I worked my way up to burger flipping. And, the guy would come out of the bathroom with the mop bucket and just be like, oh man, at least I'm not that guy. That's literally, people think they start at the bottom in fast food. Well, guess what? There's a bottom of fast food too. So I started in the bottom of the bottom. I was a Taco Bell fry boy for a while. But all of those things formed me, and I am not going to deprive my kids of the great privilege of working in a very, very difficult job. There's no job that's bad. There's only jobs that you do poorly. You should take pride in whatever it is you're doing, and if you don't like it and you're hungry for more, then go out and get more. Go out and just get it, because in most cases, no one's going to give it to you. You got to go out and fight. So I served a mission as I was a Mormon missionary, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That was for 2 years in South America. I went to Chile, and boy, there I learned another lesson in privation and hard work. And you're talking 14 to 16-hour days. It was pretty amazing. So long story short, I got back, went to college, was going to be a lawyer because I thought that's where the money was. Started a minor in poli-sci after I quit out of the whole thing, because as a lawyer, apparently you get your degree in political science, your basic understudy. That's like one of the main things that you can do. So anyway, but I switched to language arts, to Spanish, because I knew Spanish, and then I kind of got the hankering for teaching. So I got an education emphasis, graduated in 99. Took me 6 years to go to college, because I went part-time because I was working other projects, cockamamie schemes, as my wife calls them. And so I was married during college, and so I never had, the dorm life. I was a pretty sedentary, straight-up married guy all through college. And then I had my first child in 99. And then that's about the time we moved to California, because that's where my job was as an elementary school teacher. I taught 4th grade for almost 5 years. And all this time I was doing my war games. I was into role-playing games and miniatures battles. And very much so, just loved to paint the miniatures. That was my big thing that I just loved to do. And then in 2003, my dad passed away. That really affected me. We had, and it was, he had throat cancer. And so there were months where I was calling him every day and talking to him. And we flew out there, we flew back to Oregon a couple times, and he, talked to me about life and whatnot. I took some notes, had some unsettling revelations about the family line, and so anyway, that affected me, and that kind of helped push me into the miniatures painting career. I'd call it a vocation. It was a calling, really. And so in 2004, I started Blue Table Painting, and the rest is history. So for 8 years, I built this up. At first, I just kind of wanted it to be, support my own family. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I could do so much more with this. Other people could support their families too. And that's what I'm shooting for right now. I'm working really hard to turn this company into a place where people can come and have a career and have a life doing something that they love. And so far, so good. So far, so good. So again, back to thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for buying things from us. Thank you for being supportive. Positive thinking is really an absolutely huge deal. I love to get those emails where someone says, how we've helped them or inspired them, or just a thank you. I do read a lot of them to the staff. We actually keep a book. We keep a book where we print them out and we stick them in there. And yeah, thank you from the bottoms of our hearts. Okay, oh, and that little jump just then, it's like 6 hours later. I went to go see Avengers, and my movie review is I can now see no other movies. I have to stop watching movies because basically nothing is going to be better than that. I feel bad for anyone that makes a movie starting now because basically their movie's going to be horrible compared to that one. And I'm also very grateful that my children got to see this day. Yeah, it was that good. Bring a little tissue too, because you will shed a tear. You will laugh, you will cry. In fact, you can kind of see people like almost like jumping out of their chairs. It was like, oh wow, that was really amazing. Okay, so anyway, did just want to say the studio is doing really super right now. It's a great time to set up a project. We're over our surge. We are really firing on all 12 cylinders right now. It's ridiculous. It makes me happy. Inside, all right, you guys really let me down just there, by the way.
Oh, I didn't know you were waiting for us.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Okay, so, oh, and by the way, for those of you waiting the War Machine game with Zane and I, Zane decided to be a man and actually play me. Right. So that rep is coming. Lastly, just a couple things about this channel. I have another channel called Gately Musings, and I've taken my other social commentary over there, although I don't update it that much. 200 subscribers, not getting much content. I need to get cracking on that. That's one of my New Year's resolutions, my spring resolutions. Anyway, about this channel, I do allow first. I don't know why people get so bent out of shape. I mean, it costs nothing to ignore it. Oh, but no, they respond. It's weird. I don't understand that. So, but I do allow first here, and in fact, I will sometimes respond to that. So I'm encouraging that habit, apparently. And also, did want to note, just something that occurred to me is there's about 5,000 people that actually watch the channel on a regular basis, and from all over the world. And I'm like, you know what? That is a great spectrum of social mores and customs. So I undoubtedly I'm going to run up against some of those things. So apologies in advance, but I would think in that kind of environment, one might be a little more tolerant, I guess, not to overuse that phrase. I found we had a couple of people from Wales come out to Valhalla, and apparently I confirm every American stereotype that there is. So I don't know. They had me dead to rights on loud and obnoxious. So if that's a thing, I really don't know. I'm just kind of doing what I'm doing. I'm just opening the curtains of the freak show. You know, you go to the freak show, and one of the freaks has his trailer curtains accidentally open. You know, so step right up, folks. 2 bits of gander.